With the current ratio of ad valorem taxes being 70% residential versus 30% commercial, and those numbers are rounded, they're not exact, within about 2 points of each other. There's definitely got to be a piece of the pie that we've got to cut to create a different proportion, whether it be through tourism, whether it be through economic development and bringing in more businesses to increase the commercial side, maybe all of the above. I think that Guy Overby and the KEDF group has definitely embarked upon a different journey after the reorganization of their board, reducing from 40 to 9 members. I think that group has got a definitive plan of action ahead, and I look forward to seeing the great results that I know that's going to come from that. Mr. Stafford touched on restaurants and success and so forth, and I know that's been a major issue within the community of concern over restaurants moving in and restaurants closing, or restaurants opening and restaurants closing. It is a concern, but in my question and answer rebuttal to the Kerrville Daily Times, it was very clear concerning that. Shop Kerrville first. We've got to keep those that are here in business before we can ever imagine bringing in someone else to add to the mix. So shop Kerrville first.
Thank you very much. Reverend Petty, please.
Yeah, the reorganization of the EDF, I believe that is a very, very good thing, and I would like to see that operate the way it is intended to operate. And I think those folks are the experts, the best knowledge that would be able to go out and create the best businesses for Kerrville. But we also have to remember one very, very important thing, that every community our size and maybe larger are chasing every business, the same businesses, all across the state and even the nation. So we have to be careful what we promise, because we have to live up to that. There was a recent conversation I had with a person that didn't want to give anybody any incentives. He was really mad about it, but I disagreed with him. But that was his opinion. So we have to be careful, and I think the committee that we have, given the opportunity to operate and function the way that it is newly designed, I think over time we'll see some very, very good results, and the citizens of Kerrville will have to make the decision when those results surface. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, candidate Scott Gross.
There's a line in the song that goes something like, "We'll all be drinking that free bubble up and eating that rainbow pie." And I'd like to tell you something, Rosie, something that would get me elected for sure. But the fact of the matter is, we live in Kerrville, and with 3 times the number of over 65 people per capita, that's a heck of a tax freeze. And so there's going to be a premium for living here, because that's just with the way the numbers work. I mean, it should be 70-30, but it's probably never going to be 30-70. I will tell you that KEDF is starting with a clean slate. I'm really proud of what they're doing. I'm really excited what they're doing. They're not trying to take an old organization and spiff it up. They're actually trying to take an old organization and build a brand new one, and they're doing it exactly right. I will tell you that one thing that City Council is prepared to do, and probably will be prepared to do, is provide incentives for anybody who comes in with a viable plan. But I don't think the city needs to be in the business of running a convention center. And finally, when it comes to economic development, I think rather than floating requests for proposals, we need to go out and get them. You need to have a delegation to just go literally and say, come on, we're taking you to Kerrville, come see what we got.
Thank you very much. Mr. Keeble, place 3 candidate.
Well, I have to tell everybody that after tonight, I didn't really know what to expect from Mr. Walker, but after tonight, I really hope I'm elected to this position because this guy makes more sense than anything I've heard at council in the past year. It's very encouraging to me about the realistic position he's taken on this. And the reason I say that is because I've been visiting with the people, and the people, in my opinion, are not in favor of a convention center here. I have said from the very start that I would support a privately funded convention center. And that's been my statement I made from day one in September, and it continues to be my statement now. I'm convinced it's the right position for our city right now because we simply can't do what would affect the taxpayers here in a negative way. We just can't do that. And I'm very concerned that we make sure that we don't take steps that would be detrimental to them. If you go and talk with them, and I think it's probably important for this crowd to think about, you know, and some of you are people that I've spoken with, in fact, but if you go and talk with the folks who pay the freight here, the taxpayers, you will find out that they are not in favor of a convention center, and they're not in favor of more pet projects. It's just not on their radar. And I think that it's very critical that we all be aware of that.
All right, thank you very much. We have one more question we're going to take from the audience. Mr. Bundy.
Robert Jackson, and I was sure hoping that someone would say what I'm going to say so I wouldn't have to say it, because I'm not a good speaker, and I admit that, and I'm just an old country boy. But Mr. Allen touched on something that's very dear to me, and that's money. And last year, or year before last, I paid some $33,000 in taxes, property taxes. This last year, I paid $44,000 in property taxes. And so it has caused me to take a pretty good look at how these taxes are arrived at. And I personally think, and now again, I'm just an old country boy, but I think that we're going about this taxing situation from the national level to the state level to the city level, all wrong, all wrong. In my house, if my income goes down, and it certainly has the last 2 years, I've got to live with what I bring in. Why can't the city tell the city manager, or whoever makes the budget, I think it's the city manager, tell him how much money they're going to bring in from taxes, and let him get the budget to the different departments, and not have him go around and say, turn in your budget. Then he tells the council how much money he's got to have, and the council, as far as I'm concerned, understands it. I don't care the way they're doing it. If you look, then how's a council member going to say, well, we can take this much money here or there? That's not the way to do it, in my opinion. And I agree, I don't know too much about this, but I know how much money they're taking from me, the way they're doing it, and I don't like it a bit.
Sir, what is your question directly?
My question is this. Why can't the city council tell the city manager how much money they're going to have? How much money they're going to bring in?
All right, Mr.
Without
Walker.
raising the tax rate, and without just saying, the city manager.
Did you
says,
say
"I
your name
need
was
this much money."
was your name
Now, I know
Jackson?
the first thing they're going to say.
Jackson, okay.
I know the first thing you're going to say is do you want the police cut? Do you want this? They're going to
Sir,
cut.
that's actually not what I was going to say.
Sir, let's have the candidates answer your question real quickly. David Walter, please, first.
I actually agree with you. However, the process that you outlined for setting the budget is not the way the budget's set. A couple of points. One is neither the city manager nor the council knows in a given year what actual tax collections are going to be for the future year. We don't have any control over property valuations. We don't have any control over who comes to Kerrville and spends money, or how much money is spent here for the purpose of collecting sales tax.
So certainly projections are made.